shoot. Bitch, you know I got nothing to lose. Don't ever hate when I shoot. I finish shoot at this bitch like a Rambo. They can see me, I blend it like ammo. Fully loaded, won't run out of ammo. Ain't a problem that I couldn't handle. I got the sniper on top of the roof. You never hate when I shoot. It's a double barrel shotgun, fully loaded. Loyalty shit is. All right, jumping into this super late. It is really late out here. Supposed to be going to the gym, but gonna do this recap first, just because we're wrapping up the season. I think it's only right that I prioritize and do this recap. And I apologize. It's been just super crazy, but no excuses. Week 13, I took a L. I'm keeping all the heat and all the smoke. Also, is another opportunity for me to bring up my brother Ian, because his team completely demolished my team. But before I jump into it, want to just kind of shout out where we kind of are in the year. This is the last regular season week. This right here is the last regular season week. And with that being the last week, right now, the way it's set up is that it's a three-way battle for the last playoff spot. So it is between Lloyd, who is 6-7, who's been on a crazy slide, which you call it has Kit actually flagged for us. Dude has lost five straight. Then you have Greg, who is on a 1 week high, and then you have Auricio, who's on a 1 week loss. This is anybody's matchup. All 6-7. Gonna preview who they're playing against next week, just because again it's gonna be lit. So this week you have Lloyd playing against Keith. Keith is 9-4. Keith is trying to keep that bye kind of going. Then you have Auricio playing against Kerry. Kerry has been a absolute. Her and her brother has been a bit of a bus slayer in a lot of ways in regards to people who are in current standings. And then who was the last person? Where is Greg playing? Greg's playing against Kevin, the other Horton. Yo, no wonder. I knew Kit was up to something when he was trying to big up the Hortons. So this is a chance for Kerry and for Kevin to play spoiler this upcoming weekend. While also I play against Ant, which is interesting and intriguing all within its own right, as I'm 8-4 in fourth place. And then an interesting matchup actually for, we all have the same record between Kit and I believe it's against Phil at 8-5, who are playing against each other this upcoming week. So it's going to be an interesting week. But before I get into this week, which I kind of went in the opposite order, let's jump into last week. In terms of looking at week 13, which was our last week, let's shout out to my man, Greg, who got the weekly high score. He actually beat Lloyd, which is crazy because this now makes his matchup even more interesting this week because he goes up to 6-7. Lloyd falls to 6-7. Jumping right into that matchup and looking what that looked like, because that was somewhat of a pivotal matchup. And by the way, Greg annihilated Lloyd in this matchup, 171.8 to 119.22. Looking over at Lloyd's team, Lloyd had Mark Ingram give him 3.6. He played Mike Boone with 6.4. Looking at Lloyd's bench, I mean, Derrick Henry's out for him. He has Hillard there, but he's on his IR. Hunt out. Waller was out, but yeah, I mean, you can see why Lloyd is trying to get into inching into the playoffs. His team's been really hurt. Then you go to Greg. I mean, he played Cousins, which was interesting to me. Kirk Cousins, 24.2. Antonio Gibson, 22.1. He had James Conner give him 19.1. He had T. Higgins give him 28. His defense gave him 20. On his bench, he did have Devontae Freeman with 20. He also has Elijah Moore, 20.6. He has Allen Robinson currently in his IR. Nick Chubb's currently out. I mean, Greg would be, if he gets in, he's going to be a dangerous matchup. We're just calling it out now for whoever would have to play him. Going over to Ant, who loses 112.38. He lost to Kit, 154.92. Kit goes up to 8-5. He's in 5th place. Ant falls to 10th place and is currently out of playoff contention. Looking at Ant's team, he had Ty Johnson give him 3.5. He had Murray give him 5.5. He had Brandon Ayuk give him 8.5. Dawson Knox in that terrible Monday night game gave him 3.4. Zach Ertz only gave him 2. The Eagles defense gave him 4. His kicker only gave him 7. He does have Alvin Kamara currently out. He had D. Hopkins who came back finally. Courtland Sutton didn't really give him much. Doesn't really have much by way of his bench. Going over the Kit's team, he had not really much, by the way. But I should say that Kit had Josh Jacobs give him 24. He had Dallas Goedert give him 28.6. He had Michael Gallup give him 14.6. Mike Gesicki gave him 11.6. The Rams defense gave him 14. His kicker gave him 15. He also has he has 2 kickers he's carrying, but I ain't gonna. And he has 2 defenses he's carrying. So shout outs to Kit for creating a wave that's winning. So shout outs to him on that. Then going over to Kerry against Jose. Kerry, by the way, my favorite horn, hands down, not even close. Kerry won 123.86 to 118.72. Looking at Jose's team, Jose had Mixon only give him 9.4. He played the backup for the Minnesota, gave him 2.4. Kendrick Boone gave him only 0.3. DeAndre Carter gave him only 1.6. His kicker gave him 4. Oh, he had a lot of people on bye. He had Aaron Jones on bye. He had Jarvis Landry on bye. Chuba Hubbard on bye. So feel sorry for those whoever plays Jose this week. He has a lit team, a lot of them on bye, with Kyler Murray back in the stable. Looking at Kerry's team, Patrick Mahomes continues to be just like, I don't know, man. This is an off year for him. They won 22-9, but he only had 12.56, only 12.56 in fantasy. He had Diggs only gave her 9, Claypool only gave her 7.4. Her defense did give her 23. She also had Leonard Fournette give her 22.2. Leonard Fournette has to be like a first-round value based off how he played this year. Not saying he's going to get drafted there next year, but just simply saying he's producing first-round value. Nothing by way of her bench, but she does just enough to be spoiler. And then in this matchup, which was interesting, another Horton plays another spoiler. This was my least favorite Horton, and Kevin. He beat Phil 126.72 to Phil 76.84. Phil falls to 3rd place. Kevin goes up to 11th place in this one. Looking at Phil's team, he had Myles Gaskin give him 6.9, Burkhead gave him 5, Thielen gave him 1, Marvin Jones gave him 3.4, Kelsey only gave him 5.7. He started the tight end from the Raiders, only gave him 4.4. His defense gave him 3. On his bench, really nothing on his bench. He has Jalen Hurts on his bench. Nothing really else. Rashad Stevenson could be something off by, so he's a week ahead on that trend. If you believe that the starter for the Patriots is actually going to have more than 1 week injury. Then moving over to Kevin. Kevin had David Montgomery gave him 28.1. Damian Harris gave him 17.1. He had Waddle give him 18. Von Jefferson gave him 16.1. Elijah Mitchell gave him 17.4. He did have Devontae Adams currently on bye, and that was really it for him in terms of his bench. So huge win for him. Then you have Keith, my man Keith, man. Put some respect on his name. Win over Aricio 153.4. Aricio falls to 114.36. Looking at Aricio team, James Robinson only gave him 2.5. He had Brandon Cooks gave him 8.4. Myers only gave him 0. Delton Shelton only gave him 9.3, but he did have Sonny Michel give him 21.9. He also had Devontae Johnson give him 30.5. He had Alexander Madison give him 21.4. So didn't really have much else really. He does have Aaron Rodgers on bye. Really nothing else on his bench, honestly, to really write home about. Then going over to Keith's team, Jonathan Taylor continues to just be the MVP. I think he's the MVP of fantasy at this point. Javonte Williams gave him 29.8. Mike Evans gave him 16.9. Rob Gronkowski gave him 21.8. His defense gave him 14. He did have DJ Moore currently on bye. He also has Russell Gage or 22 on his bench. Debo Samuel is currently out on bye for him. So huge win for Keith by that way. And then I played against Ian's team. Ian's team is first place for a reason. He beats me 148.1 to my 126.46. Looking at my team, Jamal Williams gave me 9. I played a running back who gave me 0.2. Darren Mooney gave me 7. My tight end gave me 7.6. Team was really good, just quite pathetic, honestly. I have Cook currently out, Swift currently out, Darrell Henderson currently out, but not going to make excuses when you're playing against Ian's team. Looking at Ian's team, he had Lockett give 19.8. He had Cooper Kupp give him 26.9. Speaking of MVPs of fantasy, he had George Kittle give him 39.6. I see you, man. I see you. And then he had his kicker give him 11. Really nothing by way of his bench, honestly. I mean, everybody that he played pretty much balled out except for Tariq Hill. So this actually could have been worse because Tariq Hill only gave him 4.2. So shout outs to Ian's team on that one. This week is going to be... Yo, Greg, come out, man. I know I'm going to see you on Saturday, but I want to be next to you on Sunday when you're playing against Kevin, man. To try to get into the playoffs. Currently right now, Greg is in 7th place at 6 and 7 place against Kevin, who's 11 and 6. You have Lloyd, who's in 6th place at 6 and 7, but he's playing against Keith, who is in 2nd place at 9 and 4. Then to make matters even worse, you have in 8th place A Recio playing against Kerry, who's in 12th place at 3 and 10. And then the other matchup is you have Phil, who's 8 and 5, playing against Kit, who's also 8 and 5. Kit is in 5th place. Phil is in 3rd place. Then you have Ian, who's in 1st place, game against Jose, who's in 9th place. And then I play against Ant. Again, fellas, it's been a great, fellas and Carrie, it's been a great, phenomenal year. We're going to end it off with a bang, some spoilers, some hype. So looking forward to it. And again, it was so crazy I had to come on here late just to do this. See you guys next week. Trash, I should've wrote it. My shit crack, y'all could've